Hey, what's slicing everybody? Chris back with CAC Knives here for another knife review slash knife overview video today. Sorry I haven't made a video in about 2 weeks. We had a death occur in the family, and then the week after I was pretty sick. Completely lost my voice, so I've gained most of it back. I probably still sound a little funny, but that's all right. Today we got a customized zero tolerance 0450, believe is the model number there. Yep, an S35VN. So if you don't know much about ZT, they are a fully American-based company, and they are the parent company of Kershaw, or Kershaw's the parent company of them. I'm not really sure which came first, but as you can see, this is not just a basic titanium zero tolerance knife. This knife has been customized by Blades We Love, and there's a very cool kind of stars and stripes pattern going on there. You can see the red screws there. I also added some aftermarket screws and an aftermarket titanium clip instead of the stainless clip that it comes with. You hear somebody talking in the background. My daughter is home from school. She's still on spring or Easter break, whatever you want to call it. Hopefully you guys all had a good Easter. Anyway, this knife, as expected, is very, very good. Zero Tolerance does a very good job with their knives. It's very smooth. Fit and finish is excellent. The knife carries well. It's very light. It's perfect EDC size, as you will see here in a moment when I bring some other knives out here. And yeah, it's really nice. Now, as far as the finish goes, you guys know I don't like basic stuff. I don't really like basic titanium on my knives. I like having cool things done to them. I do have a issue with this one, and the issue is this anodizing fades easier than any other anodizing I've ever seen on any knife, including the other knife from Blades We Love. So let's bring out my Penguin, which I've also done a review on. You can see in my other videos on the channel. This knife was also done by Blades We Love, and as you can see, even if I put my hands on it, no real fade, right? Now, I washed my hands before this video to try to get as much, gunk and stuff off as you can. Maybe a little bit of marks on the side. You kind of see some marks right there, but that's not too bad, right? Not too bad. Still looks pretty good. You can still see all the colors and everything, even without a, Windex cleaning. This knife, though, I do that to this knife. You see the difference in the color? Can you tell? It's kind of hard to tell, but kind of hard to tell on camera. But in person, like the amount of shiny that blue is when you first get the knife. Yeah, see the fade right there? You can really see it right there. That's just, it's from barely touching it. And if we do a little Windex clean here, now again, I'm not sure what the difference is that he uses for the anodizing of these two knives. Let's go ahead and hit it once. The liquid on this knife does some weird stuff as well. Can you see where the Windex really hit the knife right there in the middle? I'm not sure what process he uses to anodize this one, but if I would have hit any of my other knives with anodized titanium on them with Windex, that little bit would have been enough to do it. But on this one, I sprayed the rag with a little bit of Windex. It only got the middle, okay? And you guys at home are like, well, only the Windex only touched that little part. Guys, you don't understand. That's all it would have taken for any of my other knives, any of them at all. It doesn't matter which other titanium knife it was. all it would have taken is that little bit of Windex, and it would have done probably the whole knife, front and back and pocket clip or whatever I have on it. Like you can tell, there's kind of a red Cerakote finish to this clip. And so it's not really gonna fade like anodized titanium would. I'm pretty sure that's a Cerakote. I don't know how else they would have got, you know, kind of bright red like that. But on this knife, I don't even gotta hit it with the Windex. You can see all those colors come through. And, you know, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. So I don't know what it is about this knife. That's not really a review regarding the knife itself, more of the finish. But yeah, let's go ahead and get some size comparisons going here. We got the Penguin up. As you can see, it's longer than the Penguin, but probably not longer than the Tenacious, which it's not. Don't have my camera perfectly spotted where I usually have it. My wife stole my stand for some TikToks, so I didn't put it quite back where I usually have it. Here's the Civivi Elementum, and we're going to go ahead and bring out the Rat 2. Pretty much all these knives have reviews on the channel if you want to go check them out in further detail. If you like how they look, I know all my knives look kind of different than a lot of other channels. I like doing that. I like my knife collection looking very different. Here's my CRKT Pilar, the small one, obviously. And a new one, the Finch Hellfire. This is one of the newest additions to my collection that I very much love. This is a top knife in my opinion. But yeah, it's about the same size as the Hellfire in terms of length and everything. As you can see there, they pretty much have the same specs. The Hellfire might be a tad bit longer, just a tad, but you know, not too much. Now this knife is pretty lightweight. S35 VN steel is a very good steel. It's one of my favorites actually. It's a good all-around steel. You know, fully made in America, very smooth, very comfortable. Get a nice 4-finger grip in here. Now I know some people might not be able to handle this very well. There's kind of that point, if you can see at the back of the knife. And for my hands, I wear large size gloves. It's perfect for me. I don't feel it, but I think the next size glove up, which would be extra large, your pinky may have to go on the back there, because I don't think that poke, I mean, it's not necessarily uncomfortable. It's not like sharp or anything, and neither is the one in the middle, but it's probably not going to be the most comfortable thing if you're really grabbing it and getting a good grip and trying to cut something. Now, the knife itself, there's nothing like crazy about it. It's pretty simple. You know, it's pretty close to standard ADC size, really good weight, really smooth. There's definitely not any complaints from my end. They made a good standard knife. Now for ZT, this is small, but like I said, we bring this Elementum back out here. You know, I always say the Elementum and the Penguin are the standard sizes for knives. As you can see, this is a little bit bigger, but for zero tolerance for the brand overall, this is definitely small. Most of their knives are much larger. I would say most of their knives are at least Spyderco Tenacious sized, if not bigger. So for that brand, it's small. Would I recommend this knife? I would. Now the knife does run without any customization on it. I see it anywhere from 170 to 240 bucks, depending on the month and the location and all that. That's pretty big price, you know, price cap. Now this customized one from Blades We Love, I would say it's about 220 to 230. But again, you're getting a custom finish done to it. Now that does not include the red screws or the titanium clip. It does include these blue screws already, but it has that standard kind of silver clip on there. Now, normally for full titanium and S35VN, I would say, even with the customized finish on there, 220 is maybe a little steep, but then again, maybe not, because the Kubi that I showed there a while back, let's see if I can pull it out here. It's here. This is the Kubi Nova, I believe, is the name of this knife. This was also about 220. However, this one had a lot of grinding done to it, and I would say the anodizing, was a lot more difficult, especially on something like the clip. All the titanium hardware is anodized on this and everything. But this knife is in 14C28N. This knife is in, S35VN, and this knife is also, and this has to be added in when factoring costs of products, made in the USA. That is very important, and I don't know why a lot of people never consider that. When they're making purchases, they just see prices and think it's an outrage. You are paying for an American company here, where here the actual knife, was manufactured in China, which, I always say there's two arguments to this, because while this knife was made in China and the initial profit went to a Chinese company, I bought the knife itself from White Mountain Knives, which is an American company. So I gave them my business. I gave an American knife customizer, Colin Finnegan, my business by have him do custom work on the knife. So I still supported Americans with the purchase of this, okay? And that's one thing people just don't always understand, is pretty much every knife in my collection that I can think of off the top of my head, except for maybe knives I've got from Amazon, supported Americans in some way, even to an extent Amazon, but I don't think Jeff Bezos needs any more money. But all the other knives, you're pretty much supporting American companies as an American, almost no matter where you buy your knife from. So don't let people on the internet deter you entirely from that have to have all things made in America. I do like having one full made in America knife in my collection. That's kind of just a personal vendetta for myself. And that's what this is. And yeah, I really like it. Do I recommend it? Yes. I don't think it's a necessity for collection or anything, but I think every collection deserves to have a ZT. They do have a certain premium feel to them that you don't really feel on other knives. I mean, you just don't. The way that it opens and closes, it feels different. It feels like a more all-around, well put together knife. And I know that's kind of hard to describe, but it's just something you'd have to feel to really understand. And anybody that's held a ZT, I've held a couple of the models that were designed after Hinder models, and I've messed with probably at least 10 ZTs in my lifetime, and they've all felt the same. They've all felt well built. They've all felt, like they deserved their price point. And I would say, seeing as this is a fully American made knife, price point is okay with me. I would agree. Maybe just a tiny bit too much, but not that much. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Do you guys like this customization? Maybe somebody could explain to me why the anodizing on this fades a little bit easier. Like, you can definitely see now that it's faded. That full review that I had of the QSP, it didn't look faded like this does at the end of the review. And it's just kind of upsetting that it fades so easily. Like, you can even tell now that that blue is not the same blue. is when I started this review. And like I said, I'm not dumb. I understand anodizing fades and you hit it with the Windex, but man, hitting this with the Windex, we need to show you one more time. Let's get a good spray on the rag here. So this is going to be a lot of Windex. Okay, let's get a good spray. Let's hit it real good with the Windex. This is going to be a full spray into the rag, cleaning the knife on just the show side, okay? So there that blue came back. That really shiny blue, and the red came back. But can you see the difference in the blue up close to the pivot screw? Why didn't it all go to that shiny blue? I don't get this anodizing. It's just really throwing me off. Let's compare it to the other side. Yeah, you could still see the fade on that side. Still see how it's faded over here. Let's hit it as well. You probably can watch it change on camera. Should change to blue. Oh yeah, see the blue starting to come out? You can see where it comes out. You can see right there. It's such a weird anodizing. I've never seen it do that on any of my other anodized knives. Never, not once. But anyway, let me know if you guys have some recommendations for that. I'd really appreciate it. And I hope you all had a good Easter and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks, guys.